The main priority is to get these modular buildings in a city layout as early as possible. From here to here, I should have enough space to put like a large enough table or a big desk or something to start a Lego city. I have it kind of planned out. At the end of the last video, I mentioned that I really wanted to start a Lego city, that I wanted to move the bed out of here and put a city right there under the thing, put a big table there or whatever. And obviously that hasn't happened. Hopefully by the next room tour, these will be put into a Lego city, you know, roads and stuff. That's ultimately the goal. Yeah, I still don't have a Lego city. I'll explain why in a minute, talk about my future plans. I have them up on the whiteboard and everything. I do have a plan for this room. 2024 will be my year. But before I get into all that, into why there isn't a city here yet, might as well just give you a tour of this room and what's little to show in it. So immediately the first thing that's changed is that all the sets that were in here, you know, all the shelves lining here, the shelves there, the shelves here, and these shelves, they're completely gone. They've all been moved into the other room, which I'll show you in a bit. Right here, immediately blocking my passage to the rest of the sets here is just a bunch of boxes. We cleared them out from upstairs. They were taking up so much space and that place was completely uninhabitable. So might as well just start here. The last time I showed you this, it had the UCS sets on it. That all got changed, those got moved into the other room. And what was left here was actually just the diorama collection. So I had a few diorama sets along here, a few there, and then just miscellaneous stuff like those hard drives, a spare graphics card, all that kind of thing. I'm not sure if I have a picture of it. If I do, I'll just show it now. Those just got moved over here. I'll see if I can... So like this hard drive, this graphics card, and diorama collection stuff. So these. I'm not sure what I plan to put on these in the future. We'll see how that goes, I guess. Right under it, we have a bed. There's nobody sleeping here. I don't know why this bed is in here. There's two mattresses stacked on top of each other. It's kind of just my clothes bed. I guess it's just kind of a useful thing to have. It's just left in here because there's kind of no other place to put it. That room's under construction. That's just a hallway, and that room, you'll see in a minute, is full at the moment. So it's just kind of... We should probably get rid of it, but it's there for now. It's actually... We need to move this as soon as possible, because when you open the door, it just kind of bangs off it, and it's... Yeah. Immediately to the right of that, we have something that I'm pretty ashamed of, if I'm honest. This is just where I'm leaving temporarily the Speed Champion sets I have, and just miscellaneous cars and vehicles and stuff that I plan to put into a city eventually. So like you have the Batmobile Tumbler here, which I think will fit in nicely. It scales well with the Speed Champion sets. Every single Speed Champions car that's come out is just in this pile. It's shameful. I wish I could display it better, but they kind of need to be stacked on top of each other because otherwise there's no space on this particular shelf to keep them, so it's temporary. They'll have a good home eventually. Directly above the shelf of shame, we have my whiteboard, and at the moment what's on it is just like my measurements and my plans for this city layout. It is going to be in this room. It is going to fill out this space eventually. So the reason I didn't do a Lego city here and why everything that was here is moved out is because I realized that the best space for it is here in this cubby, to put the city here. The plan is to just go wall to wall with just a really, really large table or a series of tables with some access holes cut out like in specific places that I measured up on that board. And the idea is that hopefully I can just maximize this space to be as efficient as possible, and I can access every corner of a future city when I decide to do it. I actually measured out the access holes. That's what these squares are. The idea is that, I mean, the buildings at the moment are taking up what will be the negative space, but there's 4 at the moment. There's one there, 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 and there. And the idea is that I can just pop up and that the rest of the floor, like all the floor you see at the moment, should just be table. And that's like the scale of the city that I'm going for. Maybe not initially. Maybe initially the plan will just be going to like there or something, but long term, this should all be city. But at the moment, there isn't one there, and the reason is that this room needs work. There's a few things that need changing in this room, specifically like this bed. I'm 25 years old, I can't still be sleeping on a single bed. This carpet needs changing. It's just, I never actually showed this, but this carpet isn't actually a carpet per se, it's just a carpet skin on top of plywood. Like, this is very thin. Like, you touch the ground here, it's basically walking on wood. It doesn't provide any cushion at all. So the whole floor needs to be recarpeted, which takes time and it costs money. And there's a bunch of other stuff. I might as well just venture over into this area for the sake of showing this. But there's a few other things to do with this room that need changing too. For example, there's some holes in the wall at the moment from when construction was happening in the other room, and because this is just like these walls are just those panels that you kind of drill up on top of it. They're very thin. I think they're plasterboard. I think that's what they're called. They were hit from the other side and that made a hole, so those need to be repaired. Obviously these windows need to be finished off. Like at the moment this is just, like the other side of this is just the roof. There's just slates or whatever. And on the inside you can see it's just, all this needs to be finished off and plastered and everything, so that's more work that needs to be done. And just in general, this room needs a lot of work before I kind of want to put a city here. Because like if you look at the plans I have for it, this entire area ideally will be city. And I thought that there wouldn't really be a point in going through all that effort and putting the city here and everything, only to have to move everything out, to get it recarpeted, to get it repainted, to put the plasters there. So before I put a city here, I figure we might as well just finish off the rooms, that I won't need to move the city again when I actually commit to it. And also, I can't afford a city at the moment. It's all very expensive. I did up the calculations to convert all of these into mills plates. I think I need 21 or something, and that's going to cost like 600 euro or something. 600 euro that I don't have to spend on mills plates at the moment. And actually that's a pretty good segue. All of these sets that are just left on the floor here, they're left here specifically because I plan to include them in the city. Which means all of these, everything you see here, bar the diorama collection and like the non-Lego stuff, well, and General Grievous, of course. These should all be converted into mills plates eventually, which is a pretty costly endeavor. I haven't even started doing that yet. I have a whole like layout planned and everything. I did it on paper. I'll put it on the screen at the moment if I can show that properly and be understandable. I'm gonna head over now, over the other side of... These will be gone soon. I'm going to get rid of these boxes. I need to rip off that bandage eventually. But I think that's everything there is to show in this room. It's not very exciting. It's not the room that has all of the Lego and all of the interest and where I spend most of my time at the moment. It's just kind of in an in-between state at the moment. Hopefully this time next year, this room will be completely transformed. It'll have a new carpet, a new paint job, a city started there, an actual double bed for myself just left there. This partition, I'm not sure if you can read it or not, but the plan is to put a building table here, you know, so I can make additions to the Lego city and have those like Acro Mills storage solutions just like left on the desk. That should create a nice partition between the bed and the door. Good for feng shui, all that kind of thing. And then I can probably have maybe a wardrobe or something, one of those things that I need. I don't know, there's lots of ways I can lay out this room, but the bed is probably going to stay there but get wider. City there, weaving through it. That's this room. And now we walk into the room that is actually finished and has all of the Lego in it. This room has been in construction or just in development for years and years. There's a point that I never thought this room would actually be finished. And the first day that actually was, and we moved the desk and everything in here, and I was actually set up and there was power and everything like that and heating. I stood in this exact spot. I just kind of looked over everything, saw the shelves, saw the walls painted, the nice thick carpet and everything exactly the way I wanted it to be. And I actually started crying. I stood in this spot and I was like, oh my God, like, I'm so grateful. So I might as well just give a tour of this room. Starting at the highlight, we have the 3-seater couch. This wall is in the kitchen. Mom wanted to get rid of it because it's incredibly, it's not as cushioned as it was back in its day. It also has, you know, 1 or 2 battle scars from its time. But I love this couch. It's great to just lie on and stuff. Okay, where do we even start with this room? God, might as well start inside the door, start at this entrance and kind of walk around. This is a bathroom. There's kind of an echo. I'm just going to close that. So immediately when you enter the room to your left, you just have a bunch of shit, for lack of a better word. This has probably been around since the last room tour. There's just a bunch of sets in here that never really displayed super well. Stuff like this, the Death Star Final Duel, it's falling apart. It's nowhere near its fully built state. In the process of parting those out into my storage solutions, we'll get into that in a minute. Then we just have this thing that's just a bunch of, I think this is the non-Lego Star Wars instructions. Under this mouse pad and these instructions are just more instructions. These are the Lego Star Wars specific ones. I say lying because there's a Lion Knight's castle in the Apron cabin there, ignore that. We have this set just lying around as Boba Fett's throne room. I plan to part that out as well because it just, I don't vibe with the display of it. And then immediately to the right, into this cubby hole, we have some shelves and some sets on display. Now, this wasn't always the case for most of 2023. All of these sets, every set that you see here, and a bunch of the modular buildings that were on the floor in the other room, those were just left on the floor. I took a picture of it. I'll show you it now. But towards the end, I eventually bought these shelves to actually put it up. Fun coincidence, these shelves actually fit perfectly along the wall to wall. Absolutely not measured out at all. You actually have to lift this one over the skirting so that it actually fits into place. It's like happy coincidence, everything works out well. And all the shelves that are in here at the moment, this is just the non-Lego Star Wars, non-theme specific stuff. Well, I mean, kind of this. All the stuff that are in here at the moment, these are just the sets that are not modular buildings and not Lego Star Wars. So stuff like the Lego Batman sets, those are there. The Creator Expert cars obviously are there. You have the architecture stuff there. And then just a bunch of sets that I really liked the look of, or I really like the IP as a one-off set, but maybe they don't fit into the overall collection perfectly. So like the Globe, the Mario stuff, Stranger Things, the Bonsai Tree, Ship in a Bottle. You kind of have like IP-related Creator Expert cars here, but that's not really counting the Aston Martin there. There's no real rhyme or reason to it here. You have a few of those superhero helmets there. Not all of them. I'm not huge on them, but you know, they're there. And I actually have more space than I need now, which is a absolutely blessed sentence for any Lego collector. These are just a bunch of sets that are sealed, but I don't really plan to open or build. They're just gift with purchases. They're nothing particularly special. A few instructions just left over from Christmas, like the Ninjago stuff, and Daily Bugle, I think, is there? Not Daily Bugle, fucking Avengers Tower, and that kind of thing. Oh, I got a Lego passport this year. That was pretty exciting. Only been to the one in Dublin so far, but this is difficult to do with one hand. Whatever. Only been to the one in Dublin anyway. And yeah, there isn't too much else to see here. We have the Lego architecture stuff. I think this is kind of the perfect place for it because I don't really want to dedicate any space to it out in the main room. But leaks just came out that the next set is going to be like a Notre Dame Cathedral with 4,000 pieces or whatever, probably the same size as this Great Pyramid set. No idea where I'm going to put it. We're just going to have to figure it out. He might expand over onto this shelf or something. Then we have the Creator Expert cars here. Yeah, I'm not huge on the Creator Expert cars anymore. I'm a lot more selective which ones I get. Like, I didn't get the Corvette last year. I'm not sure if I'll continue to collect them, but unless it's a car that I really particularly like. But there you go, that's where they're left. Then we have my light box here. That's just what I use to take pictures if I want a really pure white background and proper artificial lighting. Like this one it has like a warm hue to it as opposed to just cool white. So that's just what that's for. And here we have something that I only ordered last year. This wasn't here on the turn of the new year, but they are now. This is my part storage. So here we have tiles and stuff. So the first few rows are tiles. Then we have sloped bricks. We have plates here. They're all organized and labeled by size. So it starts with 1x1s and gradually gets bigger until you get to like 2x14 and that kind of thing. You have wedge plates on the bottom. Then you have bricks and stuff here. So Technic bricks on the bottom, regular sized bricks all the way down to 2x10. And then here you have a bunch of just miscellaneous smaller stuff. So like flowers, you have frogs on this one, claw pieces, roller skates, just pieces that you don't need like en masse, but it's nice to have just organized in case you need one or two every once in a while. Then on the top you have this Pick-a-Brick cup that is full of plastic bags and stuff. And the reason for needing those plastic bags and stuff is that in these kind of drawers that's just full of 1x1 tiles, you kind of want to separate it by color, but that's really difficult to do unless you bag them up individually by color. So this is just the dark bluish grey, black, light bluish grey. And I did that for the 1x1 tiles. I also did it for the 1x1 studs. I also did it for the 1x1 plates. Pretty much any drawer that has a bunch of really, really small pieces that have a lot of different colors, I separated them using these plastic bags. And now walking back into the main room again. Immediately to the left, you have my shelves of Lego Star Wars playsets. I should probably open this window just for the sake of... yeah. So this is where every single Lego Star Wars set I own ends up. Up here we have the brick build characters. I had a shelf dedicated to those in the last room tour as well. I carried that over into this one. Here we have the Bad Batch and Andor shelf. These aren't organized specifically by show or anything like that. It's just kind of the way that I think it looks nice. Here we have the Ahsoka sets. So we have the new Ghost, T6 shuttle and that kind of thing. Under here is more like Clone Wars / Mandalorian stuff. It kind of gets a bit hazy and the shelf, there's no real organization going on. We have the new gunship, the Mandalorian Fang Fighter. bunch of Clone Wars stuff, a bunch of prequel stuff as well. I love this particular line of the shelf. It's nice. It's like kind of eye level for most people, which is why I put like all of these sets here. This part of the shelf is the Rebels wave sets. So the Ghost, the Rebel Combat Frigate, and the Imperial the Imperial, the other one. TIE Fighter Cruiser Dropper thing, I don't know. Under that we have like where the original trilogy stuff starts. This is the sight and stuff like that. This is the charger for my electric toothbrush. Nicely positioned, nice and hidden. We have this shelf that's just kind of like TIE vehicles. I got the TIE Bomber specifically to fill out this shelf, and I have Darth Vader's castle in the back as well. Then you have the Mandalorian shelf. Again, it wasn't intentionally divided by show like that, but when an opportunity presents itself to put all of them on one shelf, I do that. And then on the absolute bottom, it's the shelf that's kind of harder to see because it's like very low to the ground. And you have stuff like the Jedi Starfighters, some droid vehicles. We have the Imperial Light Cruiser and some 501st Battle Pack builds. The Snub Fighters just kind of left there, no space on that shelf for it. And then you have the Tantive 4 with some just miscellaneous sets. You can see the organization like by show kind of broke down towards the bottom, but in general I quite like this layout. On the absolute top we have the 3 Lego art sets, and the reason I put them at the top as opposed to hung on the wall or anything else is because that wall to that wall is the furthest distance that you can see in this room. So when I'm over here and I'm at my desk or standing up against this wall or something, this is actually the furthest distance that you can see them, and Lego art sets look better from a distance. Gonna close the window again just because that's done. So immediately to the right of the shelf you have my minifigures. This minifigure stand I think expanded last year. It's like 2 wider I think than it used to be, but I think I'm gonna need to do that again because I'm running out of space once more. Immediately to the right of the minifigure collection you have the helmet collection. I'm pretty disappointed that they stopped doing the helmet collection for 2024. I hope it comes back in 2025. There's a few variants and a few characters that I think they really should do, and it feels incomplete without them, but regardless, this is the complete helmet collection. This is everyone that they've made for LEGO Star Wars anyway. Sad to see it go, but it's kind of nice to have a full collection at least. And then directly under that you have Mos Eisley Cantina. This I got over Christmas. It's one that's been on my books for a really long time, but I was never able to pull the trigger just because I don't think it displays super well. Like, I don't know, maybe that's just because I have it sitting beside Rivendell and it's hard to make anything look good when it's sitting beside Rivendell, but yeah, that's where that is. And now we get into the real expensive sets with the UCS Millennium Falcon. This is still on the same coffee table that was in the other room, and I originally had that left kind of in the center of the room. I have a picture now, and I quite like that because it's like a centerpiece for the room. It nicely frames everything. There's a nice little walkway around it and everything. But the reason I keep it there as opposed to there is because this is actually my VR space. This is where I play on my VR headset and stuff. So I had to keep moving it to the side anyway to make space for myself. And actually, while I'm on that topic and before we get out of this general area, this is the first VR base station, and that's where the other one are. They're bolted into the wall, so all I need to do is turn it on at the light switch there and there. The headset is plugged in there. You turn it on and it connects to the PC, and then I have all of this area to play VR, and it's really nice. And I quite like that here because it kind of connects to the rest of the UCS set, so it's kind of a win-win. In terms of this corner in general, when I eventually run out of space in here, because I mean that's inevitable, it always happens, I can move this couch forward kind of out into the floor, and then I can put shelving up against this wall, and in theory I'll have another probably equivalent of space like that, but in this corner, and that'll be quite nice as well. There's a bit of future-proofing in terms of having space and stuff, and I think there's some space for this couch to move into. I don't think it'll block much VR space, and I don't play VR enough to not do this. I did originally have plans to have a TV in this room, kind of opposite this couch, up against this wall. Not necessarily on the wall, but like on a stand, you know, where all this stuff is at the moment. But I don't really watch TV, and I don't really have guests over enough to justify it, so immediately to the left of the couch you have this chair. This chair is not the one I sit on for gaming, that's that one. This is the one I use specifically for racing, like racing games. So on it, my steering wheel's there, and the reason I use this for it is because it's actually at a better height and a better angle than that to simulate a like driving seat. And because this chair doesn't have any wheels, it just has like a metal base that kind of plonks itself on the floor. And when you're playing the racing game and you're kind of pushing against the pedals, you're not moving like back when when you're using the accelerator, or using the brakes or whatever, which is the case with this one because there's wheels and stuff. I don't use that enough to justify it just being there, but the chair is useful for a cushion and a pencil case and whatnot. Then we move into this area, which is my favourite corner of the whole room. We have my desk and my gaming stuff and everything. I don't think too much has changed since last year. I actually don't think anything's changed here since last year. I think the only difference is that my headset exploded, so it's currently held on by zip ties and super glue. But other than that, I mean, everything works. I don't think I changed anything. It's just the same thing as usual. Immediately to my left, always in view, we have this shelving just in the corner with the UCS Imperial Star Destroyer, the UCS Gunship, and the UCS A-Wing. The sunlight coming in from this angle doesn't hit these directly, at least not in the winter time. It might do in the summer, and I'll need to change everything then. But for now, it doesn't affect anything. And it's also like just about fits in under the slope of the roof, which is quite nice because I couldn't really find a spot for this otherwise. Down to my left, we have the UCS Venator in all of its glory. It really deserves its own shelf. I'm not really sure where I can put that shelf. So at the moment it's just sitting on its box under the window. Again, there's no direct sunlight here. There's a bit of natural light bleeding onto it, but there's no risk of discoloration or anything. Don't worry, I will take care of her. But that's where I have her at the moment, just kind of amidst the rest of the UCS stuff. Here you have the UCS Land Speeder, the UCS Snow Speeder, the Razor Crest, and a bunch of the other sets. I think this is kind of the perfect layout for them. Everything fits nicely in the corner. I have space to maybe put more shelves or maybe some artwork or something up there. I might fill that space eventually. Here you have the UCS AT-AT, the older AT-AT, and just kind of the little Hoth section, which I quite like. Should probably get a better view of it. There's a Hoth AT-ST in the background as well. It's kind of hard to know what to point out and what not to because I didn't rewatch the 2022 room tour. Like, I'm not sure if I had the Hoth AT-ST last year or not. It's whatever, it doesn't matter. And above my desk, you have this big empty space of wall that I plan to put like a collage or like some kind of custom Lego art thing. Not necessarily square like those ones, but maybe like a bunch of different squares. I'll probably have like a reference picture up at the moment, just the kind of design I would like. Done in the Lego art style, you know, with the studs, but, you know, related to games and stuff that's interested to me. It feels like the perfect spot for it because it's something I'll always be looking at and it kind of frames this corner nicely and fills up that spot. I don't really have any specific plans for this room other than maybe expanding the shelving into this corner eventually and probably removing that stuff from there, maybe putting a lamp or some other shelving. I don't think natural sunlight will go directly down on the stuff there. I don't think that's a concern. That window doesn't have any blinds on it, so if it did, then that will be an issue. But I think I can put more sets in that corner if I need to. I can maybe put some Lego art or something up on that wall, or maybe change this out for a taller shelving unit. That might be something to do in the future. Oh, actually, that's a really... Okay, actually. That'd be a lot better, because at the moment, these overhang in front of the blinds, so I can't actually open these blinds. But if I have like a tall display unit, maybe going up as tall as this, maybe with glass or something, then that could be a really nice solution for the minifigures, the helmet collection. I could put the diorama sets in there instead of just being in the other room, like on the floor, Rivendell and stuff like that. That could be maybe a plan for the future. And yeah, that's everything. I might as well hop back into the other room now just for closing thoughts and stuff, because I think the other room is where the majority of my plans are going to take place in. But I hope you enjoyed this. And we're back in the other room again. So now that you've seen the other room, you kind of get an idea of the kind of style that I want for this room too. I'm probably going to get the exact same carpet put in here. I didn't even mention it while I was in the other room, but the carpet in there is so like properly done. It has like a 10 or 12 millimeter underlay, 10 millimeter thick carpet. It's so spongy when you stand on it when in comparison to this, which is just you step on it and it feels exactly like you're just walking on plywood. Like, it's pretty uncomfortable in comparison. And same thing with the color scheme of the walls and everything. Like, in here it has like this yellowy color that was kind of just temporarily put up because I think we had spare of it when we made this room. So this room, hopefully this time next year, we'll have a bunch of Lego. It'll have the city. It'll all be the same color as the other room. Nice and comfortable carpet, a full bed, a build table here. It could be sick. I'm not sure what to put up on these shelves. If I'm putting the diorama collection in the other room, I'm really not sure what to put here. If you have any suggestions, feel free to give them. I might not even put Lego there. I might just put like various knickknacks that are unrelated to Lego that I like. Who knows? I might even remove these shelves altogether and put some Lego art up there. That could be pretty cool, actually. Oh, actually, that'd be really cool. Yeah, a lot of these ideas I genuinely am just having on the spot now that I have the camera up and I can kind of see everything. But yeah, maybe a nice Lego art mural, maybe a painted mural in general, above the bed, above the build table to kind of always keep an eye on. I'm not sure how I ended this last year, other than saying thanks for watching. I think I hit 1,000 subscribers today, so that's really cool. Thank you, I really appreciate that. Here's to another year. So yeah, thank you for watching and farewell.